and 6 decades of rock all day. Including the commercial-free lunch hour of power. Rock and roll. We play both. Nebraska's rock station, 94 Rock.
My name's Oscar Aparicio. I've been here for 15 years, and my current position is a senior production manager. We have positions available for cold side, A shift and B shift, along with our harvest. We have a very good environment. We have great benefits. My number one priority is your safety, and that's always number one for us here at Madison. Tyson is a great place to work.
Good morning and happy New Year's Eve. Thanks for joining us on NCN. Coming up, Nebraska ringing in the new year by digging out from some potentially heavy snowfall, the latest on the way. And healthcare workers reflect on the COVID-19 vaccine 1 year after getting the shot. Those stories and much more coming up. But first, here's your AccuWeather forecast.
Welcome back to NCN. I'm meteorologist Carl Rippey. We got lots going on in our weather, so come on in. Let's check this out together. This cold air is coming in from the north, is going to blanket our area. That's going to make for some miserable conditions. Definitely something to be aware of as this winter storm makes its way in, of which we are warned against. It's going to be very cold across our northern counties as well. With that cold air coming in, riding on those northerly winds, we're going to be in the teens for many of us, dipping into the 20s. Some of us might not even make it above freezing. Our warmest areas are going to be down closer to Beatrice. The conditions for us tonight are going to dip down below zero, so it's going to be in the negatives for many of us. It's going to be flat out cold across Nebraska. And with that in mind, we've got some of these dangerously cold conditions that are going to stay with us, so be aware of that as you're out and about.
Live look at your Great Dane trailer Skycam in Wayne, Nebraska at 8:01 Central Time. It is cold. The only advisory in Wayne County right now is a wind chill advisory. It will be cold tomorrow. Wind chills maybe 25, 30 below tomorrow. 16 right now under clear skies. High is really only in the 20s today. You'll be lucky to see 0 in the Wayne area tomorrow to ring in the new year. As far as snowfall in that part of the state, though, the Wayne area, maybe an inch or so is what forecasters are expecting right now. That is not the case all over the state, though. We will have details coming up on what you can expect with that winter storm for this weekend in your full AccuWeather forecast later on this hour. But first, let's get you back to news. And as we've been talking about, Nebraskans are bracing to begin the new year digging out from potentially heavy snowfall. Winter storm warnings have been issued for 25 counties in southeast Nebraska. Forecasters say the heaviest snowfall expected to begin overnight and keep going all day tomorrow. The National Weather Service says between 4 and 8 inches of snow is expected, along with 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts, creating wind chills as low as 25 below zero. The rest of the state is under winter weather and wind chill advisories. Around 2 to 4 inches of snow is expected in northern, central, and western Nebraska, but the cold might be more bitter in central Nebraska, with wind chills potentially as low as 30 below, if not colder. In other news today, a Columbus garage was damaged by fire last night. Fire officials called to a home on 6th Street in Columbus yesterday evening. Heavy smoke could be seen coming from the structure. There was no word this morning on any injuries or on what caused the fire. Well, here we are, last day of 2021, a year a lot of people will be happy to say goodbye to. But we are far from saying goodbye to COVID-19. Britt Conway rounds up some of the biggest concerns that experts and officials have heading into the new year.
1 day away from 2022. But wait.
This is probably not the time to have big New Year's celebrations.
Indoor New Year's Eve celebrations should be out.
I would strongly recommend that this year we do not do that.
New Year, same message as last year.
We could be looking at a very grim beginning to January.
Even if you're just with 4 or 5 individuals, there's a good likelihood that at least one of them could have COVID-19.
And here we are again. But with the highly transmissible Omicron variant, the number of new daily COVID-19 cases is the highest it's ever been. Heading into 2022, health experts are worried about people who haven't been vaccinated, especially little kids who can't get vaccinated yet.
There are still a lot of children under the age of 5 who aren't yet eligible to be vaccinated, and so we can do our part by getting vaccinated and doing all the things we need to do to help keep them safe.
There's concern about keeping kids in school.
It's critical that we do what we can. In some places, a short-term closure may be necessary in order to safely return students back and have adequate staffing.
And that's an issue our healthcare system is facing as they bear the burden of this pandemic.
If our hospital systems go down because so many are out with COVID and hospitals are seeing this all over the country, then there's going to be no one there to care for you.
Reporting for News Channel Nebraska, I'm Britt Conway.
Well, December marked 1 year since the first COVID-19 vaccines were given to healthcare workers in Nebraska. Healthcare workers say to them the vaccine meant more than being able to visit family and resume normal activities. They say it meant coming to work with more peace of mind. A year later, these same nurses and doctors still come face to face with a virus much of America has either grown weary of or still hasn't accepted. More than 6 patients have died from COVID-19 this week alone at Great Plains Health in North Platte, and officials there say the majority of them were not vaccinated.
When the patients weren't able to have any company, you were the only one. You're the only one going in there and seeing them and trying to comfort them and take care of them and make them better and watch them take their last breath. It's difficult. You can't just shut that off and go home.
To date, more than 800,000 people in the United States have died because of COVID-19. Out in the Panhandle, Unified Command there says 2 cases of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 have been confirmed in the Panhandle region. No details have been released on the individuals or their specific locations. But Panhandle Public Health District Director Kim Engel says Omicron spreads more easily than other variants, including Delta. She says only one of the current monoclonal antibody treatments is effective against it, and high demand for that treatment nationwide has left it in short supply. So health experts say the best thing for residents in the Panhandle and really anywhere in Nebraska to do is to take all of the necessary precautions against contracting Omicron in the first place. And more than half of Americans have rolled up their sleeves twice. According to new data from the CDC, more than 205 million people, or 62% of Americans, are fully vaccinated. Over 1 million doses of the COVID-19 are being given out daily right now, and only 33.4% of the population is boosted. It's about 69 million people. The data also shows an average of 619,000 booster doses are being administered each day. The FDA is expected to broaden the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine booster to children 12 to 15 years old in the coming days. Still to come on NCN, a fatal crash in eastern Nebraska. We'll have details from the scene next. You're watching NCN. Welcome back to NCN, 8:08 Central Time. One person has died after a fatal crash west of Bennington. It happened yesterday morning at an intersection along Highway 31. Douglas County Sheriff's officials say witnesses told them a car was speeding eastbound when it failed to stop at a stop sign and crashed into a northbound SUV.
It's a clear stop sign. This is an avoidable accident.
The sedan rolled into a field. The driver was taken to CHI Bergen Mercy, where he was pronounced dead. Children had to be extricated from the SUV. They and the driver of that vehicle were taken to CHI Bergen Mercy as well. There's been no update to their condition. A man's facing charges in connection with a burglary in northeast Nebraska. The Stanton County Sheriff's Office says 34-year-old Carl Epley Jr. of Fremont was arrested yesterday on a felony charge of burglary and theft of firearms after an investigation into the break-in of a rural Pilger home this fall. Epley was arrested on a warrant after a citizen tip on his location. He's being held on $100,000 bond. A co-defendant, Jennifer Oswald of Beamer, is currently out on bond for her alleged involvement in the burglary. And it's time to toast to the future and ring in 2022, but good luck finding bubbly to celebrate with. Liquor sellers say champagne brands like Moet, Clarendon, and Veuve Clicquot could retail for $50 to $100 per bottle. They're sold out in many markets. You can still likely find bottles of less expensive options, though. The reasons: increased demand, diminished grape harvests, and a disrupted supply chain. We've got much more to come. Now, time for today's live Daily Mass. You're watching NCN.
Today's Morning Mass is brought to you in part by these sponsors.
Good morning. Our opening hymn is number 92, O Come All Ye Faithful.